Welcome back to Animals Comparison, the channel where we pit nature's toughest predators against each other and find out who really comes out on top. Today, we're looking at one of the most feared animals in the world, the crocodile, and testing it against 6 heavyweight hunters that most people assume could beat it without much trouble. Let's get into it. A lion pride powerful enough to drop a buffalo without much effort. The hardest biting cat on earth. A hyena clan with jaws designed to shatter bone. A lizard that injects toxins through its bite. A wolf pack that can chase down prey for miles without slowing. And a snake so massive it takes 4 grown men to lift it. 6 of the animal kingdom's most feared hunters. 6 real showdowns against a single opponent, the crocodile. And in nearly every case, the crocodile walks away on top. So how does a creature with no speed on land, no venom, and no backup manage to beat animals that have every one of those advantages? Let's get into it. Before we start the countdown, it's worth understanding what makes a crocodile such a dangerous opponent in the first place. It isn't quick on land. It doesn't tower over anything at the waterhole. Most of the time, it just looks like a drifting log in murky water. That stillness is the whole strategy. A crocodile can stay frozen for hours, then explode into motion with a bite powerful enough to shatter bone in under a second. Combine that with a hide covered in bony armor plates called osteoderms, and you get a predator that barely has to move in order to win. The numbers back this up. A large Nile crocodile can bite down with well over 3,000 psi of force. A lion, in comparison, bites at roughly 650 psi. Even the jaguar, the strongest biting cat alive, only manages around 1,500 psi. A gray wolf tops out somewhere between 400 and 1,200 psi, depending on the study. None of them come close to a crocodile's raw power, and that gap is exactly why this list exists. The crocodile also doesn't need style or speed to win. There's no second round at the water's edge. One solid bite, one violent death roll, and a fight that looked evenly matched moments earlier is already over. Every animal on this list brings something genuinely dangerous to the table. Teamwork, venom, brute strength, endless stamina. And yet the water keeps deciding these fights before any of that gets to matter. Today, we're counting down 6 respected predators that actually challenged a crocodile and breaking down why most of them came away empty-handed. 6. The African lion. Lions hunt in coordinated prides, which usually lets them take down almost anything on the savanna, no matter the size. A male lion can weigh up to 420 pounds, 190 kilograms, with a bite strong enough to snap a full-grown buffalo's spine. If teamwork alone could beat a crocodile, the lion should be the one to do it. And sometimes it is. There are documented sightings from Zambia's Kafue National Park and South Africa's Kruger National Park of entire prides ganging up on a crocodile that strayed too far from water, wearing it down until it had nothing left. Numbers are the lion's greatest weapon, and on dry land, far from the crocodile's escape route, that weapon works. Reverse the setting, though, and everything changes. Crocodiles have been recorded killing lions at waterholes, almost always when a lone lion, a young male or a thirsty lioness, wanders too close to the edge while a crocodile waits just beneath the surface. Once those jaws close around a leg or throat, the outcome is basically sealed. The death roll, a violent spin that tears flesh and disorients the target, isn't something a single lion can counter. Once pulled into the water, even the king of the savanna is completely out of its element. So with lions, it really comes down to location. On land, backed by the pride, the odds favor the cats. At the water's edge, alone, facing a crocodile already lying in wait, the odds flip just as hard the other way. That split record is exactly why the lion opens this list. Proof that even land's top predator can't treat a crocodile lightly. 5. The jaguar. The jaguar is the most powerful cat in the Americas pound for pound, biting down with roughly 1,500 psi, stronger than a lion, stronger than a tiger. An adult jaguar weighs between 100 and 250 pounds, 45 to 115 kilograms, and kills using a skull-piercing bite, a technique almost no other big cat relies on. Jaguars regularly hunt caimans, smaller cousins of the crocodile, and footage of a jaguar flipping one over and crushing its skull has made the species famous as one of the only cats that treats armored reptiles as regular prey. But most of those caimans are under 6 feet long, a fraction of a mature crocodile. Pit that same jaguar against a fully grown Nile or saltwater crocodile, over 15 feet and 1,000 plus pounds, 450 kilograms, and the fight stops being competitive. The crocodile's hide is thick enough to blunt the jaguar's claws, and its bite easily outmatches even the jaguar's impressive jaws. Think of a heavyweight boxer landing every punch on a tank. Plenty of effort, no real result. In the water, the jaguar also loses the speed and agility that make it dangerous on land, which is why jaguar attacks on crocodilians almost always target juveniles rather than full-grown adults. Owning the strongest bite among cats isn't enough when your opponent outweighs you 5-1 and lives full-time in the one environment that neutralizes your biggest strengths.
4. The spotted hyena. Spotted hyenas aren't the pure scavengers people assume. They hunt in tight family units called clans, and a full clan can bring down a wildebeest or young buffalo with little trouble. An adult hyena stands about 4 feet, 1.3 meters at the shoulder, and can weigh up to 190 pounds, 86 kilograms, with a bite strong enough to crack bones other predators avoid entirely. Trouble starts when a clan tries to steal a kill from a crocodile. Photographers in Kruger National Park have captured this standoff repeatedly, and the pattern rarely changes. The hyenas circle, snap, even try grabbing the crocodile's tail to drag it from the water. The crocodile barely reacts. Its body is essentially natural armor, and a single tail swipe can send a hyena flying several feet. There's also a size gap that's easy to overlook. A large Nile crocodile can weigh over 1,000 pounds, 450 kilograms, more than 5 times heavier than the hyena trying to intimidate it. Hyenas are endurance hunters built for open plain chases, not for wrestling something the size of a small car, so the clan usually gives up and moves on, not from lack of nerve, but because the crocodile rarely offers a weak point worth exploiting. What makes this one interesting is that hyenas aren't easily intimidated. This is a species that regularly steals kills from lions and survives to do it again. But courage only matters when there's an opening to reach, and a crocodile keeps its vulnerable spots, eyes, throat, the underside of its tail, tucked away the entire time. The clan eventually walks off still hungry, having learned that persistence doesn't beat patience. 3. The Komodo Dragon. The Komodo dragon is the largest lizard alive, and it earns the title honestly. A large male can reach 9 feet, 2.7 meters, and weigh around 200 pounds, 90 kilograms. Its bite isn't just about the teeth. Komodo dragon's saliva carries toxins that prevent blood from clotting, so even prey that escapes the initial attack can bleed out or go into shock within a day. Komodo dragons and crocodiles don't actually habitat in the wild, so like the earlier entries, this matchup is a comparison built from size, bite mechanics, and known behavior rather than a real recorded fight. Still, the numbers are worth examining. On dry land, that venom gives the dragon a real shot against most animals its size. Once water enters the picture, the advantage flips entirely to the crocodile. A large saltwater crocodile can be over twice the dragon's length and 6 times its weight. It swims faster, dives longer, and can pull an opponent under before the venom has any chance to take effect. On land, the dragon's greater agility could, in theory, let it target the crocodile's underside, one of the few spots with heavy armor, but crocodiles rarely expose that area, and a dragon caught in that jaw doesn't get a second chance. Komodo dragons are also quick over short bursts and have been observed loosely cooperating around a large carcass, more coordination than most lizards ever show. None of that changes the math, though. Venom is a powerful long-term weapon, but it's useless if you don't survive long enough to use it, and a crocodile's bite doesn't leave room for round 2. 2. The gray wolf. Gray wolves are the largest wild members of the dog family, and their pack hunting has let them take down animals many times their size: moose, elk, bison. A large male can weigh up to 175 pounds, 79 kilograms, with an estimated bite force between 400 and 1200 psi, strong enough to crush bone in one clamp. Wolves can also sustain a chase for 20-plus minutes at speeds over 35 miles per hour, 56 kilometers per hour, making them relentless on open terrain. Wolves and crocodiles never actually cross paths in the wild. Wolves stick to cold forests, tundra, and plains, while crocodiles occupy warm rivers and coastlines a world away. So like the Komodo Dragon entry, this one is a hypothetical built from documented size and combat data rather than a real encounter. Still, a wolf pack is one of nature's most effective cooperative hunting units, and on paper, that teamwork puts it ahead of several animals already covered here. The problem is the same one that undid the hyena and the jaguar. A wolf's strength comes from stamina, coordination, and wearing prey down over a long chase, none of which helps against an ambush predator that refuses to run and only needs one clean bite to finish things. A crocodile's hide would blunt a wolf's teeth almost entirely, and the moment the fight nears water, wolves lose the endurance advantage that makes their hunting styles so effective everywhere else. Most who study both animals agree a wolf pack could likely overwhelm a smaller or injured crocodile on dry land, similar to a lion pride. But against a fully grown adult near its own territory, that usual playbook doesn't apply. It's a strange thought experiment precisely because these two predators are separated by an entire hemisphere's climate, yet the size and armor numbers alone make it one of the more entertaining hypotheticals on this list.
The green anaconda. The green anaconda is the heaviest snake on the planet, capable of exceeding 500 pounds or 227 kilograms, and stretching past 20 feet or 6 meters, with a body as thick as a human torso. Unlike a python, which relies purely on constriction, an anaconda combines a powerful bite with crushing coils, and it's a known predator of caimans throughout South America's rivers and swamps. Unlike the Komodo dragon or gray wolf entries, this one isn't hypothetical. Anacondas and crocodilians genuinely share territory across parts of the Orinoco and Amazon basins, and documented encounters, while rare, do exist. One well-known case comes from Brazil's Cuiabá River, where a photographer captured a 40-minute standoff between a giant anaconda and a crocodile. The snake coiled tightly around the reptile's body while the crocodile repeatedly bit back. After nearly an hour, neither secured a clear win. The crocodile eventually broke free and swam off, while the anaconda continued on its way. A genuine draw between two of the continent's largest reptiles. That standoff shows what happens once the size gap narrows. Against a smaller caiman, an anaconda's crushing strength is often enough to win outright, and there's documented footage of anacondas killing and eating caimans across the Amazon. Against a large, mature crocodile with thick armor and far more mass, the anaconda's grip struggles to finish the job, and the crocodile's jaws remain fully capable of inflicting serious damage in return. Speed doesn't help the snake's case either. A crocodile can burst forward at around 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour in short bursts through water.
while an anaconda tops out closer to 2 miles per hour or 3.2 kilometers per hour, even in its own element. Most experts still give the fully grown crocodile the edge in this matchup, but the anaconda earns the top spot here for a simple reason. It's the only animal on this list that has actually fought a mature crocodile to a draw, with real footage to prove it. That alone puts it a level above every hypothetical and every partial victory covered so far. That's really the pattern running through this whole list. Lions, jaguars, hyenas, Komodo dragons, wolves, and anacondas are all serious, capable predators, none of them pushovers. But a crocodile fights on its own terms, in an environment it has mastered for tens of millions of years, wearing armor that evolution never needed to improve because it already works. Teamwork, venom, endurance, raw strength, none of it guarantees much once the fight shifts toward the water and the death roll begins. It's also interesting how differently these 6 animals approach the same problem. Lions and wolves lean on numbers. Hyenas lean on persistence. The jaguar and Komodo dragon rely on one devastating strike, and the anaconda relies on sheer physical mass. Of every strategy on display, only the anaconda managed something other than a clear loss, arguably the most surprising result on this entire list. So here's a question worth sitting with. Out of these 6 predators, which one do you think genuinely had the best shot at beating a crocodile? The anaconda has real footage backing its case, but plenty of people would argue the lion pride deserves credit too, given how often that matchup actually favors the crocodile. Drop your pick in the comments. These debates always bring out the best stories from people who've seen these animals close up. That's it for today's matchup here on Animals Comparison. If you enjoyed seeing how these 6 predators stack up against a crocodile, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new comparison. And if you want to see which prehistoric predators could have given a modern crocodile a real challenge, check out the video on screen right now. I think you're going to love it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.